Alright guys, let's talk about this plotline from Chucky Season 3 because honestly, I've been reflecting on it a ton and I have some thoughts. So obviously in the finale of Season 3, Chucky takes Jake, Devin, and Lexi's souls and transfers them into these dolls, which on paper I think is a really crazy choice, but I also really appreciate how bold it is. And when you think about it from Chucky's perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense. Jake, Devin, and Lexi have been trying to take down Chucky for 3 seasons at this point, so a decent portion of their lives has been dedicated to tracking down this killer doll that's basically ruined all their lives. So I do think it's very fitting that the conclusion that Chucky comes to in order to give them a fate worse than death is to turn them into dolls themselves. Dolls that are smaller than him and potentially even weaker than him at that. I do think this was a very risky move and I can definitely understand how people don't like it, but personally I think it's one of the most demented things Chucky has ever done to any of his victims, and I thought it was executed fairly well for the most part, and I did like this foreshadowing of their outfits from the Halloween episode. But that brings me to like my biggest point of this entire video is just the overall design of the dolls. The decision to superimpose the actors' faces on these dolls was definitely a choice, and this is all coming from a place of love because you guys know that I'm obsessed with this franchise, but I think the end result just doesn't look that good. It just looks a little too uncanny and it's just kind of uncomfortable to look at. And based on this behind the scenes image, it's not like the puppets didn't have any likeness to the actors because they clearly did. Like if it were up to me, I feel like they could have just went with these dolls and like maybe do some CGI with like their mouths to have them talk, but like this would have worked perfectly well. And before the dolls were even revealed in the finale, I honestly thought we were going to get some good guy variations of the trio. So I was envisioning like a Jake variant of a good guy, a Devin variant of a good guy, maybe have like a Belle doll variant of Lexi. When I really think about it, maybe that wouldn't have made sense because this is supposed to be the very first good guy doll because it's the prototype that Wendell Wilkins built. But I mean, come on, you're telling me Wendell Wilkins can't build like 3 more dolls? Realistically though, I can imagine the reason they went with this instead of like variant good guy dolls is because of budget. I imagine putting these 3 like Barbie-esque dolls together was probably cheaper than making like 3 new entire like full-size puppets, but even still, the choice to superimpose the actors' faces on them still is just super strange to me. It didn't really take me out of it per se, but even when I watched it originally, I did feel like maybe there could have been a better option. But like I said, on paper, I do really love this plot choice just because of how bonkers it is, but I definitely do think the execution could have been slightly better. They could have just gone with these would have been great. But definitely let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Did you guys like this choice? What do you guys think would have made it better? And how badly do you guys want to see this resolved? Because I really do, because I mean, this was a fucking crazy cliffhanger to leave the series off on, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when that'll happen.